Hello, family, friends, and fans. I'm Fletcher Rhoden, and this is City of Eternal Spring, track by track. I'm taking my new album, which is available on May 1st, 2025, and I'm doing a track by track analysis like they used to do in the old days on the radio. Remember radio? I don't, hardly. Anyway, but this is the new kind of thing where it's a little internet mini series. So every week on Friday, I'm here talking about another track of the record, and there will be a link below to a YouTube video so you can hear the song for free and look at a picture of the cover. And then you can come back and comment, tell me if you agree or disagree with my analysis of my own work. Or you might just tell me how good it is or isn't. That's okay too. All right, so Mean Medellin is the seventh track on my new record. Record, album, they don't call them CDs, that's for sure. I think album is the right word. So Mean Medellin, what happened here? I like to write songs about places I've been. I'm inspired by that kind of input. And I've been in a lot of places. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and so the songs "Gridlock" and "Shaky Town Stands," oh, they're both about L.A. They're on my album called "The Joy of Song." I think it's in a 10th anniversary edition for download. "Joy of Song," it's called. So, I owned property in Portland, so I wrote a song about that place. It was called PDX, You're My Home. Uh, and I lived in Las Vegas, so I wrote a song about that. It's so bleeping hot in Las Vegas. It's the name of that song. That's on my record that I wrote and recorded there called Sexiest Guy in the World Goes Electric. I like to write about places where I've been. On this album, I've already, if you've seen this mini series before, you know that one of the songs is called Cuenca for Me. That's a city in Ecuador. I wrote a song about that. I was there for 6 months. Actually, there's a song called Cuenco para mí, which is the Spanish language version. So I like to write about where I go. And right now I'm in Medellin, it's called. They do say Medellin, not Medellin. Uh, it's a soft J. You wouldn't say Medellin either, Medellin. So, I got here, and the thing about Medellin is that it's widely. I've been to a lot of cities. I've lived in a lot of places. Boston, Massachusetts, Vancouver, Canada. I've been around, traveled through Europe and everything. This is the first time I've ever lived in a city that was once reputed to be the most dangerous city in the world. You know, and I suppose at one time it was, and that time wasn't so long ago. Medellin was a, there's an area called Comuna 13, Comuna 13, uh, Comuna 13, Community 13, and it was once a war zone in the time of Pablo Escobar, and his shadow looms large in this city, and now it's a tourist trap. Comuna 13. You take elevators, escalators rather, because it's a steep hill. Medellin is it's a city founded in a gully, kind of, and not really a valley. It's more like a gully. So there's steep mountain walls on each side. It's long and narrow in its design. So, and unlike in America, by the way, excuse me, in America, the higher up you are, the richer you are. So if you live at the top of the hill, you're rich. You've got the most expensive house, and you're looking down on everybody else because you're at the top of the hill. right? But in Latin America, certainly here in Medellin, it's opposite. If you live the higher up you go, the poorer you are. So a place like Comuna 13, which is right on the slopes and pretty high up, it's where there's where crime was happening a lot, you know. So interesting. If you want to hear more about Comuna 13, you can watch my other little mini series called Fletcher Rhoden's Medellin Diaries. So, because I'm going to go there and check it out. But basically, it's an interesting city, but it was once very dangerous. Okay, and now it's actually quite nice. I haven't been all around it. The area where I live is nice. Laureles, it's called. It's like the university part of town. It's where the University of Medellin is, and it's nice. It's very nice. It's very safe. But I'm an old man. I don't go out at night because I'm afraid of teenagers, and I should be. They're terrible. Anyway, Medellin. So I get here, and you hear terrible things about Colombia. By the way, as an expat, I'm a digital nomad. I'm traveling around, and you hear about the kidnappings and the druggings, and they'll rob you of your money, and your bank won't give it back to you, and it's just if you go to the wrong park at the wrong time of day, they have a park where you can hike up the hill. Very popular to do that hiking trail up to the top of the hill, overlook the city. But you have to do it before noon because that's when the tourists go. And if you go on your own at 3 o'clock, you're likely to be kidnapped there. There's a park near me where I walk, and a trail goes up into the hills, and I don't take it because it's too isolated, and I don't know who's up there. It's a town where you got to watch your back. You got to have your head on a swivel here, which is actually on in the lyrics of my song "Mean Medellin." So I came here, and I needed some place to go because visa problems. So here I am in Colombia, and it's Medellin. It's reported to be so dangerous. So I had to write a song about it, and "Mean Medellin" just worked so well, and it had to be a funk groove to support such a thing, of course, and it just happened. Now the thing is the city it's not so bad. It's really quite lovely, and Colombian people are fantastic. They are so friendly and nice and helpful and welcoming. The Latin people in general, in my experience, and my experience has become extensive, they're great. They're so nice. They're so welcoming and warm and gracious and friendly and excellent. It's great, you know. So it's not at all what you'd think. And I just wrote a song about it's more about the irony of it not being so mean. Mean, 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 Medellin. It's not that mean. And I'm singing, why so mean? It's not that mean. It really isn't. It's more about the illusion of it being so dangerous, because that was the time of before. But let me just say that wasn't long ago. I mean, Pablo Escobar was running this country. I think. I mean, I don't know when he died, but it couldn't have been that long ago. 10 years? Is he even dead? Yeah, he's dead. They killed him. But I'm thinking of El Chapo, who's not dead, but Escobar is dead, and his reign was recent. 10 years. Well, I think he was alive 10 years ago. I'm not really sure, but close to that. 20 years ago, he was in full power for sure. Maybe he died 20 years ago, and he was really in power before that, around that time. In history terms, that's the blink of an eye. So here I am in this town where the ghetto was the worst in the world, and now it's a tourist trap. Medellin is an interesting city where the things you want to see, the museums downtown, Comuna 13, they're ghettos, but they're the tourist attractions. Anyway, the song itself, just a funk groove, fun lyrics, fun vocal performance, I think, by me. Sounds a bit like I have this harmony thing I do that makes me sound a little like the Andrews Sisters sometimes. And so it's a little like if the Andrews Sisters and Rick James were hanging out in Medellin. That's the way it sounds to me at certain points. But it's got a real regional flavor. There's the percussion that runs through the whole album. City of Eternal Spring, you can download that anywhere. Um, it's it's fun, it's groovy, it's good, it's a cool song. I don't know what else to say about it. Um, uh, if you come to Medellin, do be careful though, because like any big city, it has its challenges and its criminal elements, like any big city, and particularly around the notion of sex tourism. If you're going to do sex tourism, I wouldn't do it here. But it's a cool song. It's a great city. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have recorded it and written it and to be sharing it with you. There's a link below. Check it out. Let me know what you think of it. There's a cool guitar solo, as there is a guitar solo on almost all the songs. Talked about that last week. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Download the record because it's a groove and a gas. It's a gas, man. And that's it. Check out my other shows, Fletcher Rhoden's Pet Peeves and Quotes and Quips with Fletcher Rhoden are on alternating Mondays on this YouTube channel. There are other things on other channels and too much to even go through. So check it all out. Enjoy yourself. Thank you for listening. Tune in again, and until then, bye, Mary.